The age of disclosure is upon us. For months, the War Department has been dropping videos and documents about the military's contact with unidentified aerial phenomena, you might call them UFOs. Whistleblowers say these crafts defy physics and human comprehension. They also say that we have some of them in our possession, along with biologics, they call them, the bodies of their alien pilots. People want to see the evidence with their own eyes.
The one thing specifically, people say, we want to know where locations of craft and biologics are, right? So we know for a fact that there have been a few very credible whistleblowers that we've talked to that allege that they have information specifically pertaining to this, but they're afraid of losing their clearances.
But it's not just government employees who need protection, it's the private sector too. Years ago, the government enlisted defense contractors to study and analyze all the alien technology we have found so that we could understand and re-engineer it for our own use. It's all top secret stuff. Even members of our own government don't know exactly which companies are involved and what they have. Marco Rubio says that's no good.
The real risk that in transferring technology that is not useful to us today to a corporate entity, over decades, that corporate entity comes to basically possess and control access to it for their own purposes, not for the purposes of national security. And so you can start to foresee where you create in corporate hands an extraordinary amount of power.
So we need to know what alien secrets are tucked deep inside the military-industrial complex, and we'll never know that if whistleblowers don't speak out. Well, that's about to change. Dan Farah is the director and producer of The Age of Disclosure, and he joins us now. So, Dan, let's begin with this. Why do government contractors and government employees, but government contractors, need protection right now?
So just to take a step back, following the release of the film, The Age of Disclosure, the president issued an historic directive in February instructing federal agencies to identify and declassify evidence of non-human intelligent life and UAP. The White House then had the task of getting that evidence from these groups. And in that process, they learned that a lot of the most valuable evidence and information is in the possession of private defense contractors. Contractors have been given this sensitive technology for a number of reasons. Primarily, the major defense contractors are the ones who have the best engineers and scientists to actually try to understand this technology and reverse engineer it. So there's a practical reason they're given this technology. It also adds a security layer because private contractors are not subject to FOIA, the Freedom of Information Act, and they can much more easily hide secrets. The problem is that's backfired, and that now the defense contractors are they have a great deal of power in this situation. They're holding most of the cards. They have the evidence, and our elected leaders don't have access to it. Now, a lot of people who have worked on these programs have signed non-disclosure agreements that prohibit them from sharing information and bringing evidence forward. And so the White House has realized this and started a process where Congressman Burleson, Congresswoman Luna, and Congressman Burchett, members of the Committee to Declassify Federal Secrets, they've been empowered to identify whistleblowers who have credible firsthand information or evidence that they can provide to the White House, and they've been empowered to bring those people on a case-by-case basis to the White House, and the White House will consider waiving their non-disclosure agreements or providing immunity to allow them a path to legally speak. I've recently learned that Stephen Miller, the White House head of policy, is pointing this effort for the White House. The president has positioned him to run that effort. They're taking it very seriously. In addition to that process, there's also Senator Rounds and Senator Schumer have co-sponsored a bipartisan piece of legislation called the UAP Disclosure Act that will also, if signed into law, provide Congress with a legal path forward for disclosure and a way to address this dilemma. They've tried 3 years in a row to get this law passed, and they've been blocked by some members of the House. Interestingly, those members get their biggest donations from private defense contractors.
I can't think of anybody better than Stephen Miller to handle all issues regarding aliens. Dan Farah, thank you so much for coming on.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube. And catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.